Hi, this is Adam, and I'd like to share a risk that comes with setting exposure caps on players and the potential danger of accidentally changing or getting correlation that you didn't necessarily expect or want uh, because of just the way the math works behind programs. And I'm a computer programmer at heart. It's my day job. And so just for fun, I'm going to run 20 crunches. Uh, on Fantasy Cruncher, I use Fantasy Cruncher. I've used it for the last 3 years, really like it. And you'll see in this crunch, I don't have any rules set up. I have Saquon seems like a really good play right now. And on the wide receiver, let's say Devontae. Completely separate games. You know no real correlation other than potentially they may happen to show up in each other's lineups. And for the sake of this example, I'm actually going to bump Saquon's projection to like 50. And I'll do the same thing with Devontae. So basically, if I rerun this crunch, I'm going to get 100% of both of them because they're like the stud plays. No one would ever project for 50 points in NFL DFS, but let's just say for the sake of this example, there they are, 100%. Now, if I wanted to cap one of them, let's say I wanted to cap Saquon at 25%. I want you to ask yourself, from a program standpoint, what does that actually do? And there are some really cool rules here, by the way. You can say, when you calculate your exposure caps, this is in advanced options right here. You can calculate them after each lineup is created or based on the number of lineups requested. I'll leave it at this one. You'll see the same principle apply even if you select this other one. But let's just say after each lineup is created. And so what that basically means is Saquon's going to show up in the first lineup. And then in the next lineup, it's going to say, what's Saquon's current exposure? Is it 25% or under? It's not, so I can't use him. And you'll see the same math on every single lineup. And then what happens is in lineup 5, they'll ask the same question. What's Saquon's current exposure? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's in one lineup. So it's 25%. Okay, he's in 25% of lineups currently, so I can use him again. So it pops him in on number 5. And what you'll see as a trend is he'll show up in every fourth lineup. Lineup 1, lineup 5, lineup 9, there he is. Lineup 13, there he is. Lineup 17, there he is. So the 5 lineups that have Saquon, you can predict, because you set the exposure cap at 25%, which lineup he's going to show up in. Now, if I set Devontae also at 25%, just, I'm changing risk exposures, etc. And I just happen to change Devontae to 25% also. What do you think is going to happen? And this is just in 20 lineups. We could do this for 100 if you wanted to. And what you'll see is they show up. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. They're 100% correlated. That's not what you wanted, I'm sure, because there's no correlation between the two players, right? So Saquon is, of all the Saquon lineups, the 5 lineups that have Saquon in them, you'll see Devontae is in 100% of them. And that's not what you necessarily wanted, but you've accidentally built, I call it artificial correlation between your players simply because of your risk exposures. Now, this is a really important point to help you not make mistakes. Because this is a big mistake. You're just thinking risk exposures. You're not understanding, or we're not thinking about how the program is actually handling those risk exposures. And there are some, you can call them shortcuts or cheats. You could inversely correlate the two, which has its own set of problems. You could finagle the exposure caps to say Saquon it's 26 and Devontae is 25. That has its own set of problems. In fact, if you do something like that, your first 50 lineups are super correlated, and then your last 50 lineups are like not correlated at all. And it's like, is that really what I want? And I don't know what it is. I don't know what you want. But I can tell you for sure, I accidentally, in the way I did this, if I set them both to 25%, and let's say they're chalk plays, I've accidentally created correlation simply because I've set risk exposures to be very similar. And there are various combinations of this. If you set 1 to 25 and 1 to 20, you'll see interesting things happen. And so I think this is really important for us to understand so that we don't make those same type of mistakes. And I hope this video is helpful in exposing risk exposure.